This video goes over what I expect for NPA2 bad news. In this assignment, you will first take on the role of a consumer complaining about a product, and then you'll turn around and be the manufacturer issuing a nationwide recall for that same product. We begin as usual with a video explanation, the student learning objectives, some resources on writing complaint letters and on writing product recall letters. I've also included some business letter basics again and phone number and addresses again, so make sure you read those carefully and that you meet those expectations. I've included several student work samples from previous years. These include some pretty humorous accounts of things going wrong with common consumer products, so do take the time to read through those and hopefully you'll be as amused as I was. If you can include humor in your work, that's all the better. I love it when the work makes me smile. Now for the project parameters. When you complete this project, again, you are a consumer who is complaining about a product. Something didn't work as expected, it caused damages to you or your home, something just wasn't right about it. And then you're going to find out that you've received a lot of these as the company, and now you're going to have to issue a recall for this same product. So make sure you keep that in mind. These will be two separate documents on two separate pages, but you will turn them in as one file that is a PDF format. You have to include all of the standard parts of a business letter. You need to have a statement of what the problem is, backed up by your facts and your examples, concrete, strong wording of what happened. You need to make sure that you list any attempts that you've made to fix the problem already so that you didn't have to involve the company. Include what you'd like to see happen to satisfy you. How can they fix this? But be reasonable here. If you have a $25 product that's broken, you're not going to get $1 million payoff for that unless it, burned down half a city block or something. You also need to be reasonable about your time frame. Remember, we are preparing this for print and mailing in the U.S. mail. If you ask them to respond to you within a week of the date of the letter, it's just not going to happen. These big companies, it'll take them a week to get it and get it into the right person's hands before anyone even gets a chance to read it. So make sure your response time is reasonable as well. Do not threaten a company or imply that you're going to report them or sue them or give them bad reviews. You're trying to extend good faith. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, so you want to be nice and kind in your work. Make sure that you don't have bad pagination. As stated in the business letter parameters, if you're going to go onto a second page, you need to really go onto it or somehow reduce some things on the first page so that you stay on the first page. Be very, very careful of things like extra space between lines, which we've talked about in other work, or having too big of margins or too big of a font. Make sure that you keep your font between a 10 and a 12 for the most point. If you need to adjust your margins, don't make them smaller than ½ an inch. Again, we're printing this, so it needs to look good on the page and be able to be read on a page rather than a screen. For the second part of this project, you're going to now pretend that you are the company that made this product. You are recalling that product nationwide. So this is not a letter that goes back to you or whoever wrote the claim letter. This is a nationwide recall. Do not address this letter to any one single person, especially the person who wrote the complaint letter. In your recall, you need to include an apology for the issue, what your company is doing about it to fix it, and how other people can sign on to be a part of the remedy. Can they get 20% off their next purchase? Can they get a replacement pair of sneakers free? Can they get hospital bills paid for? What's happening that the company is going to do for every single person who has the same complaint? It should also include who they can contact if they have any further questions, maybe something about what your company will do in the future so that you don't have similar issues. And then, of course, you should include the company logo and the address as if you really do work for them. In this case, do not cite the logo. You don't have to tell me you found it on the website. I pretty much can guess where you're getting it. But also make sure that you do use a high resolution image, so when you put it in your document, it doesn't end up being fuzzy or pixelated. and that you've constrained your proportions so that it is in the right proportion and it isn't squished or stretched or smushed. As with all your other projects, if you have any questions, please do email me and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can.